As of today,
communistic policies. Communistic is when you give Medicare the ability to negotiate drug prices. I can't believe we're practically living in the Soviet Union, Ben.
Because I believe competition is the lifeblood of our economy. More
Soviets. I can't believe Kamala Harris is embracing this Soviet-style economic plan, where we're like literally the sentence after she's like, I think competition is the lifeblood of our economy.
When you helicopter money on people, it doesn't make things worth more inherently. It just means the price of everything goes up.
Dude, this pisses me off so much when people are like, inflation from printing money in the economy. Don't you know Biden, Harris, and the Federal Reserve printed money? It's like, well, bitch, why did they print money? Do you want to explain any of the trade-offs there? Do you want to explain what would happen if we didn't print money? Are there any trade-offs, dude? Do you want to talk about how unemployment was at below 4% for like 27 straight months? Like,
in the middle of an inflationary spiral. She has another proposal.
Oh, the inflationary spiral.
Guess what it is? Wait for it. It's free money. I know, you weren't expecting it.
Are you going to mention that she also called for the construction of new homes, Ben? Are you going to mention that at all? Are you going to mention it?
Free money from Democrats. As the Harris-Walz plan starts to expand the supply of entry-level homes, they will, during their first term, provide...
Oh, he mentioned it while he was quoting. Let's see if he elaborates on that at all.
That is helicoptering $25,000 of cash for people who want to buy.
Are you going to mention this? You literally quoted the supply side, Ben. Ben, please, you quoted the supply side thing.
One of the things Democrats tried to do by increasing these payments during the pandemic was basically make them universal without any work requirements whatsoever, essentially implementing a universal basic income. According to Axios...
Oh no, oh how, dude, universal basic income? What a horrible dude. Oh, we can't be having that. That's basically communism. Are you kidding me? A universal basic income? Oh no.
What it really is about is just giving people cash. It's just handing cash out the door. Not her cash, understand. She's never earned a dime. She's been a complete useless person on the taxpayer dime for virtually her entire career.
I wouldn't consider, you can disagree with her policies, but like I don't know if I would consider these a leech off the taxpayer dime. Like, she was like literally putting criminals in jail. Like, right? Like, all right, the only person I trust on economic takes, clearly. I just showed you my economic takes on it. So now we'll get Ben Shapiro's, Kamala's Soviet-style joy. I'm going to skip the parts of this that aren't about econ. I watched the first like 8 minutes. I don't remember exactly how much of it is about econ. Some of it is about like the debates and not about econ. We're going to try to just stick to the econ parts. So we might be skipping around a bit.
And she wants to have it both ways. She wants to both say that she was deeply embedded in Bidenomix, and also she has no responsibility for Bidenomix. So yesterday, she had to do a very awkward rally with Joe Biden, and it was indeed an awkward rally. And Joe Biden was out there touting Bidenomix, which of course is wildly unpopular, but he was saying things that she can't associate with because she actually requires the same voters that Biden had in the bag. So here was Joe Biden rallying with Kamala Harris yesterday, saying everyone does better with more unions. I mean, if that were true, then there'd be more than 7% of the workforce currently unionized in the private sector. It is eminently untrue. In fact, everyone does significantly worse with large...
This is a dumb talking point. There are probably other reasons why union membership has declined than them just not being good. There are obviously unions that are a problem. I'm not like ultra super pro union. Okay, I mean, like, to some extent you're going to increase unemployment of unions, probably not to that great of an extent. But I mean, anytime you're keeping a wage level above equilibrium, there are definitely some union leaders that were corrupt or whatever, but workers see quite a bit of benefits under unions. I think corporate power has definitely probably increased over the past 50 or so years, and that's been a big reason why union membership has declined, not necessarily just because everyone does bad under them. What is this? It's just a bunch of, we're just going over Kamala Harris economic stuff right now. I want to see what Ben Shapiro said about this.
Scale unions in the United States. Consumers get absolutely screwed. Industries turn into zombie industries subsidized by the federal government. This is the story of the car industry in the 1960s and 70s in the United States. But here,
I mean, I don't know what exactly this point is. I don't think we really should be subsidizing our car industry. Maybe I would agree from there. What do you think about the hypothesis that union decline is in part a product of more heavily unionized industries declining by virtue of unions making them less competitive? I mean, I haven't read into it at all. That wouldn't be that surprising. The problem is like the export competitiveness for Soviet Union style. True. Soviet Union is when you expand the child tax credit. That wouldn't surprise me. The issue is I would assume that the U.S. is going to get a lot less export competitive regardless of whether or not we had unions, simply because we're a more developed country. The opportunity cost for everything is higher now. Like most developed countries transition away from exporting more towards like service-based stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if that played some part of it. But I wouldn't assume that was a major factor. It could be. I just haven't read into it.
Here is Joe Biden trying to make sure that he's got those union voters in the bag for Kamala Harris.
There's more we can do for everyone. We can't give up. They told me every major piece of legislation we passed to give us the strongest economy in history and the strongest economy in the world. We got more to do for working people. And by the way, everybody does better when there's more unions.
Bro, real.
That is eminently untrue. As any business person will tell you, that is not true. Sometimes unions are good. The vast majority of the time, unions make demands that actually bankrupt the businesses they're supposed to be negotiating with. Meanwhile,
the vast majority of the time, they bankrupt the business they're negotiating with. I don't think I would agree with that claim. I would need to see data behind that. What I do know is I think like real private sector wage growth has fallen in recent years. Let me see if I can find the graph. So actual income has not been decreasing by that much because like government transfers have increased, and there's a whole bunch of reasons why income isn't decreasing that much. However, specifically in the private sector, the rate at which wages have grown has been somewhat stagnant / decreasing before COVID when it grew a lot. Funny how the Democrats don't want Harris to say her policies until after she gets into office. I mean, she's been more clear on policy recently. Like she did that speech in North Carolina, specifically laying out multiple things of multiple policy positions. Right, that was what that whole speech was. I think it's a semi-fair criticism of Harris that she hasn't explicitly listed a ton of policies. I think she's probably scared to do that because she wants to get as many voters as possible. And I think everyone's just assuming that she'll be what they want if she doesn't list doesn't list a bunch of super specific policies. But I mean, we did just see that speech in North Carolina she gave where she listed a bunch of different specific policies. We know she's going to be, for the most part, a continuation of Biden's policies. She's Biden's vice president, so I would assume most of Biden's policies she will continue with. We know she's pro-abortion. That is one policy that she has. Prices were cheaper under Trump administration. So true, dude. I've never thought of that. Holy shit! My entire macroeconomics education just got destroyed by that comment. Holy shit! I can't. That's unbelievable, dude. Dude, really, dude. Hey, just a quick question: who is GDP growth higher under? Who is wage growth higher under? There are trade-offs, dude. Welcome to the world of trade-offs. Yes. Also, do you think any of the inflation had to do with Trump's 2 stimulus bills that he did and the deficit spending that Trump did? Now, I think those stimulus bills were good. To be clear, I think those stimulus bills were good. I think Trump's stimulus bills were really good. That was one good thing he did, was the 2 stimulus bills during COVID. However, they did definitely contribute to inflation. So did Biden's stimulus bill. Biden's stimulus bill also contributed to inflation. Okay. But there are trade-offs. Welcome to the world, buddy.
Kamala Harris was campaigning with Joe Biden, and more of this, frankly. I think Republicans should be tying Kamala Harris to Joe Biden because, again, she is only famous. She is only a prominent political figure. She's only
You want a better economy? Trump is a guy. I didn't consider that one before. Do you know anything about like how low unemployment was under Biden? Do you know about that, or do we not accept that, or what's the deal with that? Like
Democratic nominee because she was put in power by Joe Biden, and she promptly turned around and stabbed him directly in the.
Or again, GDP growth. GDP growth is higher under Biden. I don't know if you know about that.
But. Here she was at this rally bragging about her tie-breaking vote on the Inflation Reduction Act. So she doesn't want to own the inflationary record of the Biden administration, but she brags about being one of the people who was the deciding factor in the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which was one factor in the 40-year highs in inflation we have seen under this terrible administration.
2 years ago, as vice president, I was proud to cast the tie-breaking vote that sent the bill that gave Medicare the power to negotiate and let it get to the president's desk.
That was actually a deflationary part of the Inflation Reduction Act, to be clear. I don't think the Inflation Reduction Act was probably that deflationary overall. It probably increased inflation in some places, but one place it did actually have genuine deflationary pressures was prescription drug costs, because it did allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices down. That is a really good policy, and the Inflation Reduction Act is what allowed that.
Proud when our President Joe Biden signed that bill into law.
God, she's awful. She is just plain awful. And now she's spelling out more of her communistic policies. So, as of today,
communistic policies. Communistic is when you give Medicare the ability to negotiate drug prices. I can't believe we're practically living in the Soviet Union, Ben. Oh my God, I can't believe how oppressed we are. Holy shit.
Federal ban on price gouging as part of her economic platform, according to Politico, to lower grocery prices and everyday costs.
So, I mean, I showed you the video, me explaining the policies before. This is my least favorite policy, okay? I don't think this is a good policy. But to be clear, it is not very clear what she means by this. This is a pretty vague position. Now Harris is just copying Trump with no tax on tips. I mean, I saw that, but like, I don't care that much. I mean, I don't really like no tax on tips. But like, who cares? If it's a good policy, if you think it's a good policy, then like she should copy it, right? Isn't that a good thing? Like, who cares? Like, if you think like.
Action to be announced during a speech in North Carolina is, among others, she will take in her first 100 days in office to lower high grocery costs, according to a campaign official granting anonymity to discuss policy ahead of an official announcement.
Well, I mean, like, it's just like, if I think a policy is good, I probably want as many people to hold it as possible. Like, I understand, like, she is like just doing it for votes, right? Because it's a dumb policy. They'll never get past the Senate. But like, if you think it's a good policy, then you should want people to support it. Like, how about no personal earned income tax at all? Taxes get taken on both ends every time it changes hands. I mean, I think in an ideal world, we would move away from income tax and move towards sort of tax via payroll, true, but we should move towards, well, payroll taxes mainly just go to Social Security and Medicare, right? But she's also admitting Trump's got good policies, with the no tax and tips. Trump has good. I just mentioned two Trump acts of legislation that were good. The stimulus bills that he passed, I think those were both good things. I think overall Kamala's better. I think in an ideal world we would move away from income tax. I don't see that happening anytime soon. In my ideal neoliberal world, we would have no income tax and we would just have consumption taxation or cash flow taxation as well. But payroll taxes to buying tax makes you invest less. I mean, well. Yeah, that's the issue, right? A consumption tax doesn't make you invest less, right? I'm assuming that's what you mean by buying tax. That makes you invest more because you're disincentivized for consumption and you're incentivized to save. But
now, 27 days into her campaign, and there's no policy on her website. None. Zero.
Also, the issue, payroll taxes arguably make people work less. I haven't seen any. I don't know about any of the data on that. I would assume so you're voting Harris in November? Yeah, I am. I plan to, at least. What was I saying? First, I thought Trump seemed good from what I heard online. Then I looked at his policy and stuff, and I was like, what the fuck? This guy isn't a fascist. True.
It's pretty impressive, frankly speaking. This is idiot policy. And passing federal laws on price gouging on groceries is idiot policy. The reality is that in the grocery industry, profit margins are well under 2%. There's very, very little profit margin in the grocery industry, because it's really competitive. There are tons of groceries. There's tons of supply. There is no shortage of food in the United States. And so the idea that it is monopolistic companies price gouging people, and that's why the prices have gone up, is insane. First of all, price gouging in general is almost always crap, because the reality is that prices are determined by supply and demand. I can't gouge you on price unless I'm the only supplier available in a really, really wide radius. No competition is available. And you are willing to buy at the price that I set. That is the only way I can, quote unquote, price gouge you.
That's not the only case it could happen, though. Monopoly is not the only market failure, Ben. We could also talk about, you didn't address this at all, the prescription drug market, because that has inelastic demand. You can price gouge as much as you want, right? Because the demand is inelastic. You'll buy it no matter what because you need it to fucking live.
But there's no actual definition for price gouging, because it turns out that according to Democrats, price gouging is just prices they don't like because it makes them look bad politically. If she believes that she's going to bring down prices through price controls, this has been tried. It is Soviet-style policy. It is Cuban-style policy. It is Venezuelan-style policy. Simply declaring that the price of a product shall be X does not guarantee the widespread availability of that product. In fact, what it leads to is a spur in demand and a reduction in supply. That is what price controls do. Price controls mean more people want the thing because now it's cheaper, and fewer people are willing to produce the thing because now there is no profit in producing the thing very often.
My macroecon brain doesn't like the way this is phrased, because technically, a decrease, like price doesn't influence demand. Price influences quantity demanded. It's like the shift of the whole demand curve versus the movement along the demand curve. He is right, but the price influences the movement around the demand curve. It doesn't shift the demand curve out. But he is right here. But also, let's just like pull up the
Kamala Harris
set
to propose.
Okay, this is what she actually said.
So believe me, as president, I will go after the bad actors.
So this part, the going after the bad actors, is a good thing. As long as you do it with like the laws in a book, because we already have laws in a book banning a lot of this stuff. Maximum pricing units is the only place in town that sells groceries.
And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food.
That, when she says first ever federal ban on price gouging in food, that whether or not you want to consider that a price control, it's just not clear how she would do it. I would agree. Again, it's probably not a good policy, but it's just such a vague policy.
My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules.
So this is about basically, I don't want to call it just surge pricing, but price gouging. Like if there was a natural disaster, and some company is the only company left in town or whatever, and they're charging $3,000 per bottle of water. This is what it sounds like she wants to address here.
And we will support smaller food businesses that are trying to play by the rules and get ahead. We will help the food industry become more competitive because I believe competition is the lifeblood of our economy.
Soviets. I can't believe Kamala Harris is embracing this Soviet-style economic plan, which we're like literally the sentence after, she's like, I think competition is the lifeblood of our economy.
More competition.
There's actual loss in producing the thing, and people do not produce things at a loss.
Toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Yeah, like that. Yeah, like toilet paper. And, well, some of that was probably supply side though, so I don't know how much of it would apply there. But yeah, like that. Yeah, or not supply side. Sorry, demand side. I mean, like there's a surge in demand. They weren't necessarily. I don't know how many companies were taking advantage of that, but I do know there were a lot of private individuals who would like go to Walmart and buy up all the hand sanitizer and toilet paper, and then charge an excessive amount after they had bought all like the town supply. So it sounds like he's concerned with stuff like that. But
this is why price controls lead to bread lines. And I know Bernie Sanders thinks bread lines are great. Bread lines are wonderful because look, that means we're just in a line.
True, Ben. That's exactly what Bernie Sanders says.
But it's actual terrible policy. Every economist understands, right, left, center, unless you're like a full-scale Marxist, that price controls are some of the worst policies you could possibly have met, and obviously she's pushing it because she is of the opinion that Americans are too stupid to understand what price controls are. Now, Kamala Harris isn't stupid enough to believe in price controls, or maybe she is. One way she might not believe in that if she had gone to maybe Grand Canyon University. Grand Canyon University is a private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. GCU believes
private Christian university.
And where you are, and provides GCA law, make prices go down.
Oh, sorry.
Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. That's gcu.edu. She believes that Americans are so dumb that they think that the federal government can simply, by passing a law, make prices go down. It's very much reminiscent of something called the Kellogg-Briand Pact of 1928. In 1928, it's also called the Paris Accords at the time. In 1928, a bunch of countries in Europe got together, including Germany and the UK and France. They all got together and they outlawed war in 1928. And you know how it worked out? Not amazing, if you know your history. Because it turns out that the 1930s followed. And that included World War II.
But it's so vague.
It turns out you can't outlaw war.
As a statement, I don't even know what the point.
Diplomatic piece of paper.
He's just fear-mongering. That's unironic what I think Ben does about Kamala a lot. He like fear-mongers about stuff that like... The issue is, he's admitted this before, he does grade Trump on a curve. So like when he does stuff like this, like doing like spewing out all this shit, he's made like a fucking 10-part series. I don't think it's 10 parts. I don't know.
Well, folks, we have a piece of break.
A multi-part series on Kamala Harris, and it criticizes her for stuff that like just it's 4 videos so far. It's just like it's not that big of a deal, and like in comparison to anything Trump has done, which he like barely covers at all, it's wild. It's insane. I don't no one knows the exact policy.
Saying we outlaw war. And you can't lower prices simply by saying that you wish prices to be lower and then setting price controls. In fact, you usually end up with precisely the reverse of what it is you are seeking.
That's not even what she's asking for. Like she's not like trying to bring prices down via federal law. All right, I guess that's one way too. That's a dumb way of framing it, because the thing she said was specifically going after price gouging, which is like when companies are like intentionally exploiting some type of like natural disaster. She mentioned that, the natural disaster, to raise prices. It's not just like she wants to bring prices down via federal law. That's just a dumb way of framing it.
Kamala Harris is not that stupid. She knows that. But according to Politico, of course, it's a political move, right? Elevated everyday costs have plagued the Biden-Harris administration.
What do you think about people who say that like inflation, for groceries example, is in part price gouging as profits rose as well? I haven't done a ton of reading on it. I think the issue is during COVID, a lot of inflation happened, but at the same time, a lot of fiscal support, government support for companies increased as well. We started giving them loans and started giving companies subsidies and money, right? So it caused, so obviously inflation spiked, and companies' corporate profit margins spiked at the same time because of the fiscal support that they were getting from the government. I don't think that, I haven't seen much proving that there's like a causal relationship there, that there was like a causal
since Americans' grocery bills spiked during the pandemic. Even with some promising recent polling, most major voter surveys show President Biden and Harris well behind former President Donald Trump on the economy. Harris has tried to level set with voters about the pain of high food costs in recent campaign speeches, something progressive and battleground district Democrats on Capitol Hill have said they wish Biden would have addressed earlier in his presidency. Harris's proposals show how she would expand Biden's focus on price gouging and food costs according to the plans detailed by her campaign. In addition to her push for the first ever federal ban on price gouging by food corporations, she would also direct the Federal Trade Commission and state attorneys general to investigate and levy penalties on food companies that violate the federal ban, which again is insane.
Well, going after food companies, if they are price gouging, is base, but going after them for whatever federal ban she chooses to enact, if that is a federal ban I disagree with, would obviously not be based.
This is insane.
To clarify.
Food is not more expensive because the bread companies decided randomly to raise the prices in collusion with one another. Food is more expensive because the Federal Reserve pumped money into the economy at a rate unprecedented in human history, and then the Biden-Harris administration decided to jack more money into the system. They thought it was good. Ezra Klein famously wrote a piece a couple of years ago lamenting the fact that inflation had resulted because it said, modern monetary theory, the idea that you just pump money into the economy, was really good for people at the lower end of the spectrum. It was eviscerating.
I can't believe we got based MMT or Kamala Harris in office. What, is Cope Little Cake still here? We did it, guys. MMT are in office.
Income inequality because you were just helicoptering money on people. And then unfortunately it resulted in inflation. Of course it resulted in inflation. When you helicopter money on people, it doesn't make things worth more inherently. It just means the price of everything goes up. If I give everybody in the United States $10 extra, no one is any richer. It just means the prices go up by $10.
Oh no! Oh, the neutral money. We go immediately from making a semi-valid point while also not mentioning any of the trade-off. Dude, it's pissing me off so much when people are like, inflation from printing money in the economy. Do you know Biden, Harris, and the Federal Reserve printed money? It's like, well, bitch, why did they print money? Do you want to explain any of the trade-offs there? Do you want to explain what would happen if we didn't print money? Are there any trade-offs there? Do you want to talk about how unemployment was at below 4% for 27 straight months? Like, do you want to talk about how these programs kept millions of people out of poverty? I think like an estimated at least 11 million people out of poverty. Do you want to talk about how the U.S. real GDP growth is like much higher than every other G7 country? Do you want to talk about any of that? No, you just want to bitch and moan about inflation. And MMT, you don't actually want to address any of these issues. And then what
everything goes up if I give everybody.
Oh, and then now we're doing the neutral money. Like if I give everyone $10, then people aren't richer. The price of everything just increases by $10. Did you know money is actually perfectly neutral? Nobody believes this, by the way. Even like Hayek himself. You could maybe argue money is neutral in the long term, but nobody believes money is neutral in the short term because prices are rigid, wages are sticky, and prices are sticky as well. Even Hayek himself doesn't really believe in, or didn't believe in, neutral money. Yeah. Anyway, but we have like so much evidence for sticky wages and sticky prices. Like nobody actually believes in the full neutrality of money.
In the United States, $10 extra, no one is any richer. It just means the prices go up by $10. That's all that happens. Because supply and demand. Ooh. These people. It's amazing to believe that we are led by such dollars.
What were you doing with the wages that they became sticky? Naughty? Grumple, have I told you my pickup line? Girl must be the labor market because their friction makes me real rigid. That's pretty. People don't like it, but it's literally goated, bro. It's literally goated. And I'm being hated on for no reason.
But they're not, though. They know exactly what they're doing. And in fact, in the middle of an inflationary spiral, she has another proposal.
Oh, an inflationary spiral.
Guess what it is? Wait for it. It's free money. I know, you weren't expecting it.
Are you going to mention that she also called for the construction of new homes, Ben? Are you going to mention that at all? Are you going to mention it?
Free money from Democrats in the middle of a $30 trillion national debt? No, they would never do such a thing. Our national debt currently runs at, according to Truth in Accounting.
I get, like, it's just so fucking infuriating, okay? Listen, I am a Kamala shill, okay? I do defend Kamala on my life, okay? I do that shit. I am a Kamala shill. I will fully admit to it, okay? But even I, like in my video, okay, that I made on these policies, like I was like, look, I put the price controls in F tier. I made a tier list about the policies, okay? I put the price controls at F tier, and I put the housing subsidies, I put them in C tier, okay? But Ben doesn't even, like, he doesn't mention any of the trade-offs. He doesn't mention that, maybe he will, but he's also not mentioning that, like, Harris also was, like, insanely yimby in his speech as well. Like, she literally said she wants to build 3 million new homes. She literally said that, like, it's too hard to build homes in some places. Like, we have to start tearing down the red tape to allow the building of more homes. Like, she's also pushing, like, aggressive supply side issues. But Ben's not going to mention any of those. Listen, I am the ultra Kamala shill, and even I will criticize Harris for the bad things that she proposes. And Ben is, like, not mentioning any of the trade-offs or any of the positives at all. Like, it's insane.
Some 35.
Of course, you critique your own team, make it better, Ben fearmongers.
$1 trillion. The actual truth, in terms of unfunded liabilities like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, is more like 100.
Oh, as well, she's giving money to local governments to finance the development of new homes, new affordable homes, like starter homes, like
$156 trillion. So things are going amazing here in this United States. And Kamala Harris and company, they are ready to dump more money into the system. According to Jeff Stein, the White House economics reporter for the Washington Post, Kamala Harris is now proposing $25,000 in federal assistance for first-time home buyers going to 1.4 million people. Quote, many Americans work hard at their jobs, save, and pay their rent on time month after month, but they can't save enough after paying their rent and other bills to save for a down payment, denying them a shot at owning a home and building wealth. As the Harris-Walz plan starts to expand the supply of entry-level homes, they will, during their first term, provide...
Oh, he mentioned it while he was quoting. Let's see if he elaborates on that at all.
Paid their rent on time for 2 years and are buying their first home up to $25,000 in down payment assistance, with more generous support for first-generation homeowners. The Biden-Harris administration initially proposed providing $25,000 in down payment assistance only for 400,000 first-generation home buyers, or home buyers whose parents don't own a home, and a $10,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers. Vice President Harris's plan will simplify and significantly expand that plan by providing up to $25,000 for all eligible first-time home buyers, while still calling for a significant addition for first-generation homeowners. It will expand the reach of down payment assistance, allowing over 4 million first-time buyers over 4 years to get significant down payment assistance on average of $25 million
how
to get the
long
funds
is
they need to buy a
quote?
first home. So what is that?
Okay.
That is helicoptering $25,000 of cash for people who want to buy.
Are you going to mention this? You literally quoted the supply side, Ben. Ben, please, you quoted the supply side thing.
A first home. Now, I have no idea what the provisions on creditworthiness are.
Ben,
here.
please.
It turns out they're going to flush a bunch of that money down the toilet if you are simply giving people money who
Ben,
cannot...
please, first of all, it's for people who have paid their rent on time for over 2 years. She was clear on that. That's what the policy proposal says. And Ben, please. Ben, you quoted the supply side thing. Ben, you read the quote. Ben, please.
Afford to actually pay for the mortgage. The down payment is only part of what you're paying when you pay for a house. There's upkeep, there's mortgage.
Ben, please,
owning a home is expensive, which is why a lot of people rent right now.
Yes, we know. Great.
But according to Kamala Harris, it is time for the federal government to simply helicopter cash
over
people.
Please.
She's pairing this, supposedly, with tax credits to get people to build 3 million new units. The problem, of course, is that she presumably will attempt to rent control all of those units. She will attempt...
Oh, okay. Well, maybe she'll do supply side things, which I'll mention in one sentence, and then I'll immediately undermine it by saying that she's going to rent control them, even though that was a policy that Biden proposed, and they deal with progressives in order for the progressives to support him for his reelection. Biden's not being reelected anymore. I would assume Kamala Harris is not going to continue that policy that Biden was only doing as a deal with progressives. But maybe let's hear about it, Ken. Maybe he has evidence. What pisses me off is that Ben knows better than to vote for Trump and just refuses to use his brain. If he would actually engage with politics, Ben is an RFK Jr. fan more than a Trump fan. It's obvious. Yeah, Ben was on the whole anti-Trump thing until he realized there's no space in the conservative politics sphere for full-on anti-Trump people. He was like, didn't he literally write an op-ed why I will never vote for Trump? Which it's fine to change your mind, But like the way that Ben changed his mind is really, it's really the fact that he changed his mind so hard that he's now like defending Trump to his fucking last breath. Well, because he grades Trump on a curve, which he's admitted to in his fucking destiny debate. It is wild. Why I will never vote for Trump. Oh, here it is. Oh, it's still up on the Daily Wire. I'll never vote for Donald Trump. Here's why. I will never vote for Donald Trump ever. I stand with certain principles. I stand with small government and free markets and religious freedom. Donald Trump stands against all of these things. He stands for Planned Parenthood and trade restrictions and targeting of political enemies and an anti-morality, foreign policy, and government domination of religious nastiness towards women and tacit appeals to racism and unbounded personal power. I stand with hashtag no Trump. Again, like, it's fine to change your mind on things. But I don't think the issue is, I don't think Ben has actually changed his mind on saying that on these things that Donald Trump is against his values. I think he just realized there is no like space in mainstream conservative politics if you're anti-Trump. So he just shifted to covering the bad things about Kamala, and Biden as well, like so much, while doing the most he can to defend Trump as well.
To price control all of those units. So on the one hand,
by grading him on a curve,
hand she will give, and on the other hand, she will take. Now, all this market interventionism is simply a sop to people who want free stuff from the federal government. And by the way, it ain't free.
Okay, he's not. The rent control, all he said was presumably Kamala is going to rent control. Source, nothing. The only thing you could point to that is, again, the deal that Biden made with progressives in order for the progressives to endorse him for re-election. He's not being endorsed for re-election because he's not being re-elected anymore. He already dropped out. So that proposal is presumably dead.
We all get to pay for it, or rather, all our children get to pay for it. She is also proposing a $6,000 tax credit for new parents. Now remember, when J.D. Vance proposes a tax credit for new parents in order to increase the number of children being born in the United States, then that is sexist and horrifying. When Kamala Harris does it, it's genius and wonderful. The difference between...
Did anyone call it... If anyone called it sexist and horrifying, then that's dumb. I don't think they were probably calling that policy itself sexist and horrifying. I think they're probably... I think there's... My guess would be that there was rhetoric surrounding that from J.D. Vance that was sexist. That would be my guess. I don't think anyone should be calling the policy itself sexist and horrifying. Thanks for the follow. Ka-chow. I appreciate it. Thanks. It helps a lot. Thanks.
Between the two proposals, I would assume, is that J.D. Vance's proposal actually has some work requirements attached to it, because we would like to see people be able to support their kids beyond a $6,000 tax credit.
I don't need it.
One of the things Democrats tried to do by increasing these payments during the pandemic was basically make them universal without any work requirements whatsoever, essentially implementing a universal basic income. According to Axios,
Oh no! Oh, how, dude! Oh, universal basic income? What a horrible dude! Oh, we can't be having that. That's basically communism. Are you kidding me? A universal basic income? Oh no! What would we ever do with that? Especially during COVID. What a horrible policy, Ben. Yeah, good one, bro. Good one. Nice one.
Middle-class families, including a $6,000 child tax credit for families during the first year of a kid's life, when expenses go up and income often goes down while a parent steps out of the workforce for childcare. Harris, echoing Joe Biden, wants to bring back 2021's expanded child tax credit, which was $3,600 per child under age 5 and $3,000 for those older under the American Rescue Plan. There were no work provisions under the American Rescue Plan, and so what it ended up being was just free money helicoptered to people who then had a tough time supporting the kids on the other end of that payment.
How could we?
For lower income adults who
are you going to mention any of the trade-offs? Are you going to mention any of that? Are you going to mention we were in fucking COVID? Okay. I also on my tier list, I ranked the expanded child tax credits somewhat low. I put them in B tier because I said, I think we should probably just be switching to more universal benefits. And apparently Ben is just completely anti that. Thanks for the follow, phone. I appreciate you. Your streaming content is impressive, and I followed your channel. I would love to connect to support your work. You can reach me on Discord at EmilyOlive202.
Aren't raising kids. The proposal would expand the earned income tax credit as well. So,
sorry, I'm going to read in chat. Hillbilly Elegy, his Rust Belt upbringing, his book published in 2016 became a bestseller. Vance was initially opposed to Donald Trump. Oh yeah, you're just quoting some articles about him. Yeah, he was very anti-Trump for a while. But he experimented with political conversation during Trump's presidency, became right-wing populist. Yeah.
Just in case you're wondering, this is not about getting more Americans to have kids because we have birth rates that are too low. What it really is about is just giving people cash. It's just handing cash out the door. Not her cash. She's never earned a dime.
True. Based. Unironically, so based. Yeah, giving money for people to have kids does not have a very good track record. Italy tried it. It did not work very well. South Korea is currently trying it. It's not working very well. These types of like family policies to like give people money for having kids does not, it's not a very good policy. Doesn't seem to work. What is based though is giving people free money. You heard that here first.
She's been a complete useless person on the taxpayer dime for virtually her entire career. What this is about is using your money to pay off her. She's been a complete useless person on the. What it really is about is just giving people cash. It's just handing cash out the door. Not her cash, understand? She's never earned a dime. She's been a complete useless person on the taxpayer dime for virtually her entire career.
That, like, he would, I don't think, like, would he ever say that about a Republican? I don't think he would ever say that about a Republican politician. I have to go to bed. Nice to meet you. Thanks for stopping by, Ka-chow. I appreciate you being here and lurking. Thanks. I like Kamala Harris. I think started. We need price controls on PS5. True base. Oh, Copeland. Okay, I don't know if you. I don't think you were here earlier. He called Kamala Harris an MMTer. That was really fun. What I was saying. Oh, I like Kamala Harris. I think she was district attorney, and then she was like state attorney general. I wouldn't consider, you can disagree with her policies, but like I don't know if I would consider these a leech off the taxpayer dime. Like she was like literally putting criminals in jail. Like, right? Like deputy district attorney, attorney general of California, and then U.S. Senate. These are all leeches on the taxpayer dime? Like, actually, Matt, I don't know. Maybe you could argue that about Senate, but like, really? These are the jobs that you think are leeches on taxpayer dime. Okay.
What this is about is using your money to pay off her political constituents. That's what this is about, always and forever. Always. I mean, it's terrible economic policy. It truly is. Again, this sort of stuff is for stupid people. It is economic policy that was dropped on its head as a baby.
True,
and yet Wall Street
yes,
seems to be willing to dump money on her. Why? And the answer is because Wall Street is always trying to get in bed with the person they think is most powerful. The thing to understand about Wall Street
I've seen this stuff on Twitter.
One of the great failures of Wall Street and of big business in general, they are not capitalist by nature. They are profit-seeking. There is a difference. Profit-seeking means that you will find money wherever it lies. So if the best way to make a profit as a business is to get in bed with corrupt Democrats, you'll do it. You'll rig the system for your own benefit if you can make a profit. Well, Wall Street very often is trying to rig the system for its own benefit. What you need is an unrigged system, like Prize Picks.
Is he fucking going to promote gold now?
Now is a perfect time to join Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds. Turn your...
If you don't want to invest in the stock market, just bet on sports games. Okay, dude.
Sports opinions into real money all season long.
Is it even that, like, if companies are rigging the system and getting in bed with corrupt Democrats, that's arguably going to be good for your portfolio, right? I mean, as long as you buy the companies that are so corrupt, just buy Pfizer, bro. They're clearly in bed with the Democrats, so do it.
Prize Picks, it's just you against numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch those winnings roll in. Plus, now you can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. That means you can turn $10 into $1,000. Hook up hot takes with your friends. Win real money this football season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5.
They're reading the system by.
The $50 bonus is guaranteed.
You know, he didn't explain it at all. Like,
and for every week in September, one Caleb Williams passing yard use. Hurry.
Maybe he will after the fucking ad read.
One that will $100. That's code Ben on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Run your game. A capitalistic company is one that will not do those things. If you're a capitalist, you say, I'm not interested in getting in bed with the government because I know that whenever anyone gets in bed with the government, they end up getting screwed. That's the nature of the bargain. And we don't want the government picking winners and losers. But that's not what a lot of Wall Street does. A lot of Wall Street is perfectly willing to get in bed with the government so long as it benefits their firm at the expense of all the other firms, which is corporatism. It is not capitalism. And then when that system inevitably falls on its face because the government is bad at picking winners and losers, when those bubbles always burst, capitalism gets blamed. It's one of the perversities of the way that our system of government works under a mixed economy. Mixed economy meaning free market for some parts and government-sponsored, subsidized, and run for other parts. Whenever there's a failure, the free market gets blamed, and then more government interventionism, and then the government fails, and then the free market gets blamed some more. That's the perverse cycle that our government works through, and our media, and unfortunately a lot of Wall Street. According to Politico, enthusiasm surged in the week since Harris took over from President Joe Biden, who was hemorrhaging support with high-dollar donors.
Well, he did not
Harris to smash
really substantiate it at all. He just said the government's bad at picking winners or losers, which is probably true, and then that part is probably true. I don't know if the rest of what he said was true. I would like to see a little bit more evidence to that one, but
former President Donald Trump's cash advantage. She did it without offering many details on her economic policy. Business leaders, from Lazard President Ray McGuire to Blackstone Group President Jonathan Gray, lined up behind her as she erased Trump's lead in the polls. Former Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein told Politico the business-friendly policies offered by Trump are attractive to Wall Street, no doubt, but many players find other aspects of the Trump package unrelated to finance.
Are Trump's policies even that business-friendly? Like, he's also, like, he's proposed substantially raising tariffs. Kamala Harris, yeah, I know, it's wild. Kamala Harris. Like, Trump's policies are not super pro-corporation. Some of them are, like some of the tax cuts, but at the same time, also really in support of tariffs. A lot of companies rely on inputs, like they're going to raise the price level. A lot of companies don't want tariffs. Yeah.
Overwhelmingly negative. Like most people, folks in finance, we have a variety of interests and concerns and may find the lesser-known Harris more attractive than the Trump they know. In reality, it's not about them loving abortion so much on Wall Street that they are willing to dump their economic interests on the side. The answer is they believe that they can buy exceptions to the rules for themselves. And so far, that's worked. They did this with Barack Obama as well. Didn't hurt him at all. They were able to make bank off the Federal Reserve's loose monetary policy. Firms like Goldman Sachs made a ton of...
Oh. So corporations are funding Obama so that Obama will put... Hold on. Didn't Obama put Jay Powell in office? Jay Powell was in office the entire time under Trump as well. He, and so corporations are investing money in people. So what? They put a good head of the Federal Reserve in? Oh no, he assumed office in 2018. Okay. Janet Yellen was put in by Obama. And they or no, wait, who was under Obama? Steve Mnuchin? God, it's been, oh, wait. Oh, wait, chair of the Federal Reserve. Okay, she wasn't a Barack Obama. I was reading the wrong thing. Secretary, okay. They're funding evil Democrats, so evil Democrats put in chairman of the Federal Reserves who will then enact loose monetary policy. How could it? Wait, that's not even. I don't have enough. Done enough reading to speak on confidence. Is to speak with confidence on this, but from what I've seen about Scott Sumter's stuff on NJDP targeting, it's not even true that monetary policy was especially loose in 2008. I think he argues that the issue was that monetary policy was overly tight, and that's what led to a lot of the adverse effects from the 2008 financial crisis. It spiraled out of control because monetary policy was too tight. I don't have enough data. I haven't done enough reading on that to speak on that confidently. But like an argument to be made there at least. I'm out for a while. Well, thanks for modding, Grapple. Keep it sexy. I lurked me out. Thank you. I appreciate you being here, Grapple. Thanks for watching. Thanks for modding. You're a cool dude. Cool, rad dude. Who is Alan Greenspan the person that wrote the practical guide? Not quantitative. Practical guide to macroeconomics. Is that who wrote that? No, this is by Jeremy B. Rudd. Who's Alan Greenspan? What's his book? Former chair of the Federal Reserve. What did he write? The Age of Turbulence, Capitalism in America. Never mind, I just read Greenspan's wiki and he believes in objectivism. Yeah, I don't even know. Let me look up Scott Summer, 2008. Tight monetary policy. I think he argues that monetary policy was actually overly tight. Financial crisis 2007 to 2009. As the Fed noticed, consumer is it? Wait, who's the NZDP targeting guy? Is it Summer? Sumner? Judging from the path that NGDP was too tight in the months leading up to Lehman's failure and was eased insufficiently aggressively in response to the subsequent economic meltdown. I haven't done a ton of reading on this, so like don't take my word for this, but like there's a case to be made that monetary policy was actually overly tight leading up to and after the Great Recession, or the Great Financial Crisis, which led to the Great Recession.
Money by working with the Treasury Department and the Federal Reserve in order to facilitate expansion or decrease in the money supply. So of course they're going to support the person they think is going to win. Again, all of this is terrible economic policy. All of it is going to lead to economic stagnation at best. But Kamala has a plan. You're not gonna hear any answers.
I don't Bidenomonics is going to lead to economic stagnation. I can't believe the U.S. has stagnated, guys. The U.S. has stagnated. I can't believe we've stagnated. What? Oh wait, hold on. I should this is the updated chart, so I should put this in here to replace the chart that's here. We're doing better than it. I know. It's like what? Like look. Like what on earth? What do you mean? What do you? First of all, GDP growth is higher under Biden than under. Why can't I can't click in between the. Hold on. Let me just paste it and drag it up. Okay. Like we're doing so much better than every other country. Almost every other country. Well, 2 wars are going on. True. Yes. Well, 2 wars are going on nonetheless. Now, we were obviously affected less by the Ukraine war than European countries were, so that's a reason why European countries are stagnating more than us. But like even Canada, look, GDP growth is higher under Biden, both with COVID and without COVID. So like real GDP is higher. Like look at consumption, real consumption, inflation adjusted consumption is right back on trend for the U.S. You want to talk about countries that have stagnated? Look at Europe. Look at the UK. They have not recovered in terms of consumption, inflation-adjusted consumption, compared to the U.S. This is just a graph of the UK's GDP. They're not. They fell way behind after the Great Financial Crisis, and then even more behind after COVID. Like they've actually stagnated. This is like a unbelievably dumb argument. You should. If you're being an intellectually honest person, you should be able to say that there's some trade-off between how fast we're growing and how fast we recovered from COVID versus the inflation, right? That if we do these stimulus bills, we're probably going to have a faster recovery. We're probably going to grow a little more, but at the same time, these stimulus bills will cause inflation. You should be able to say there's probably some trade-off there, but Ben won't do that. Ben will just say, actually, magically, the inflation has apparently no positive trade-offs that he will mention at least, and we're going to stagnate as well. Like what?
About this, you're going to know nothing about this because she's got one thing: she's got joy. Now I know that when you think of Kamala Harris and that rictus smile that she likes to lay on the American people, you don't think joy. You think more like Joaquin Phoenix and Joker, like a pathological, bizarre laugh that breaks out at all the wrong times. But the media have recast her campaign as a campaign of joy, a campaign of happiness and wonder, childlike innocence. And so the only interview that she has done so far is an interview with her vice president, Tim Walz, on MSNBC. See, they didn't even bother to have an interviewer ask her questions. Instead, they had the person she picked from obscurity ask her questions about stupid crap so they could laugh and smile at each other in the most awkward, smug, and off-putting way. I mean, just the smarm factor here is off the chart. It really is off the charts. It's insane.
I'm looking at Coach Walz.
Oh my God! Oh, he just meant they're talking about the fucking taco thing, aren't they?
Tacos and
what is that? Like mayonnaise and tuna? What are you doing?
Pretty much ground beef and cheese.
Okay. Do you put any flavor in it?
No. Here's the deal. No, they said to be careful and let her know this, that black pepper is the top of the spice level in Minnesota. You know.
I'm the first vice president, I believe, who has ever grown chili peppers.
Well, trying to expand my food knowledge.
You know, we've got some cantaloupes. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And he's bowing before her superior food knowledge because she's just an amazing cook. That's the one thing we've learned. She's giving recipes.
He hates joy. She said that came out horribly. He hates joy. You're like it's just like a silly little fun video, and like he's just like the conservatives are the SJW snowflakes now. The fact that they all got so offended over a white guy taco joke, like this isn't a joke that people have been doing forever. Like I know, like it's so wild. Like there's this funny song, like the fucking Try Guys, or it's not the Try Guys, Lou Burger.
White people taco night. We're getting taco shells from the grocery store and ground beef from the grocery store and shredded cheese from the
They're from 4 years ago, by the way.
And Ortega sauce from the grocery store. And I can't wait to see.
Those tacos look fire. Exactly. It's just like literally the dumbest joke to get so offended at.
In the past. By the way, not racist at all. When the black vice president and presidential candidate is talking about the lack of flavor palette for white people.
Not racist at all.
Apparently, white people hate spices. I mean, apparently, a white people taco.
I saw this on Twitter
is
too.
tuna and mayonnaise. That's because white people don't like spicy food
statement
at
coming
all,
up.
which is presumably why between the 15th and 17th centuries, multiple European countries fought a series of wars over the spice route and the spice trade because they hate spices so darned much. So it's all stupidity, and it's all meant for the consumption of morons. And if you buy into the joy, if you buy into the Barack Obama-like selfie stick presidency, H.L. Mencken suggested that democracy is the theory that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard. All right, I mean, if this is what you want, this is what you're going to get. But we should mention something.
He's so mad. He's so mad that Democrats have a candidate to be excited about now. He's so mad. The black pepper is a meme, though. You got to get the taco seasoning from the store.
Yeah,
what is exactly?
Joy routine. You should not find joy in your politicians. You should not. That is not where joy comes from.
Joy comes from your religious community.
Joy comes from your community. Joy comes from your religious commitment. Joy comes from your virtuous action in the world with meaning and purpose. That's where joy comes from. Apparently, according to Kamala Harris and company, joy comes from fealty to the Democratic Party. That's where joy comes from. If all of this makes you want to go back to sleep, well, you need to wake up because there's too much going on. That's where Black Rifle Coffee comes in. Black Rifle Coffee helps you wake up every morning.
Or maybe Democrats are just excited to have a candidate to rally behind. Is he going to make any criticism of Trump's fans and how Trump's fans are way? No, I think that's it. I was going to caveat it a little bit. I think it's fair to say there are a lot of Trump supporters who are way more, let's say, get way more joy out of supporting Trump than there are Harris fans who get way more joy out of supporting Harris. I've not seen many Kamala Harris tattoos. Maybe there are some, but there are so many unhinged conservatives that will buy so much stupid shit that will donate to him no matter what he does. Yeah, it's wild.
Movements that seek joy via politicians are generally really, really ugly. The joy is a cover for control.
People become bitter and mad.
In fact, they mandate joy. It's mandatory fun.
I just mean, the joy point is stupid because people, the Democrats are just happy to have a candidate to rally behind. They're just more energized now. That's what's happening. People just like that there's a younger candidate who can actually speak a sentence, right? That's what's happening. Trump has insanely angry Fox News hyper obsessive Fox News enjoyers to get mad at the fucking green M&M having high heels.
And that's how it feels with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. It's mandatory fun.
It's really mad at us for being happy.
I know.
It's
the wires that connect to the corners of your mouth and pull them upwards. The joy will be required. And if you are not joyous enough, if you don't feel the joy, you're not
Trump
doing
Hannibal Lecter now.
If you ask questions, you're violating the joy.
Okay.
Totally wrecking
does he talk about anything else?
Joseph Stalin from the Soviet Union. We all think of Joseph Stalin as the stern man with the mustache who killed 20 million people. But actually, the way that he was promoted in the Soviet Union was with joy. Do you see all these smiling children?
No. Great.
From some people and giving them to others.
Wait. He was promoted. He was promoted with smiling children. Coincidence? I think not. Tim Walz is literally Joseph Stalin. Confirmed. I can't believe it.